Port Townsend, Washington. My name is Miles McLaughlin here with Wilco Land, bringing out a new property. I'm going to go over a few FAQs in this video, common questions I get about these properties. Going to talk a little bit more about our business, what we do, and how to go visit this piece of land. So sit back for a minute here and I'll kind of run you through what we got. So obviously going through drone imagery. I'm not going to touch on the photos too long. You guys can click through that yourself, but the first thing I want to do is talk to you about where this property is located on a map. So let's get a bird's eye view to see what we're looking at. I'm simply copying and pasting these GPS coordinates into Google Maps here. I'll zoom out a little bit to give you a better view. So just north of Port Hadlock, here's a marina down here in the old alcohol plant. I do have another property down here available if you're interested. So again, close to the bay. This is a residential neighborhood. We're right off Cascade Avenue here to the south. My favorite app when I go do land viewings is actually to use Onyx Maps. So we do offer a self-service model here at Wilco. You will have to go view the property on your own. I like using this app. I have a blog on the blog page, a tutorial on how to use it if you're interested. So take a peek here. It's a 1/10 of an acre. You can see other people have developed on different properties. You can kind of just browse around here and see there's development along Cascade. There's similar properties. So here's a wildlife area actually. So adjacent to you has some public land. You can see this was a platted street at one point, but you do have some road access here. So I like Onyx because you can see parcel lines and things like that. So what's kind of cool, just kind of browsing around here, looking at other properties, seeing kind of what folks are doing. They're developing quite a bit, maybe some secondary structure and some shops and stuff like that too. So, getting more into the property, a lot of questions. Hey, what can I do with this? Can I develop? Can I build on the property? We're selling the property as is, right? I haven't gone through any feasibility studies. I haven't applied for anything like that. I just acquired the lot. For my criteria to buy a property, it matched that, right? I don't see any huge major red flags for this property. We've done pretty surface level due diligence. If you're looking into zoning, you can click the zoning site here. You can read more about what you can do. Camping, RVs are allowed. There might be some restrictions around that, certain time periods, probably only temporary. They don't want people living out of tents on these properties. They don't want you living out of RV on the property, unless you're connected to septic or sewer. That would obviously help. So anyhow, when it comes to land use, what you can do, refer to the zoning and go find rural residential. Something else you can do is you can look at it on satellite imagery. Like we were just talking about that. And I've got some more information to share on utilities and buildability, how to talk about that. But what you can do is I have a parcel viewer. So you see all these lines here. Yours will be a little bit different if you pull it up on Google Earth. But I mean, look at the next door neighbor was able to build, right? Obviously a bigger property. So they have more space for septic and well. That's probably the challenge you're going to run into on this property. And I believe there's actually water available. So let me get into utilities notes. I haven't looked at them yet, but a lot of times when we're in residential neighborhoods like this, sewer and water may be available. Electricity would be the last of my worries here. You can see everybody's developing on their lots. So, it's not a perfect science, but you can see other people on similar properties right around us developing. There shouldn't be any issues with wetlands and things like that, but it is Washington. So that's something you always got to look into. But going back to this, when we talk about building and development, nobody's going to give you a black and white answer on that. You got to start going through that process, right? And I've got a little bit here when it comes to utilities. It's zoned for residential development, right? They're going to allow some camping and RVs, potentially up to 6 months. There may even be stipulations around that. Sometimes they ask for active building permits. Other times you can. There is some for a landowner. There is some availability to camp and RV on the property, right, for short-term periods of time, which adds a lot of tangible use and value to the property right now, right? It's not a property that you can only build on, right? So go through the zoning, see what you can do, double check and verify that information on camping and RVs. But when it comes to building, if you are looking to build someday, if this is a long-term investment to potentially build on someday, it's zoned for residential development, right? You can submit a site development review application on their online or in person. For this lot, it's going to cost about $700, take about 2 months to process. There is power served by Jefferson PUD. There's public water in the area. So they probably have maps showing water lines. So you do have probably an option to hook up to water. And septic can be installed with an approved permit from environmental health. So you're on 1/10 of an acre, right? There could potentially, depends on what your neighbors have. There could be issues with septic, but the county, sounded pretty promising. Nobody's going to give you a yes and no because, you got to go through the perk test. You got to go through that process of getting, it's going to depend on the soil, what kind of septic system you use. Something you can do is go on Jefferson County's website and you can actually look around the property here. So this is the lot we're selling. You can look around to see if this guy is on septic. Is this guy on septic? Is this person on septic, right? You can click around and you can see what type of septic system these property owners are using on their properties. Is there a sewer line on Prospect Avenue that people are connected to, right? You can contact the city or the county to see where the closest sewer lines are. A lot of times in residential areas, and this is happening over in Port Hadlock next to the old alcohol plant, they're installing a sewer system. So, little heads up, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, this could easily be served by sewer. So if you're not looking to build tomorrow, that's something to kind of dig into and maybe explore a little bit. Is there going to be sewer available for these waters to stub or these properties to stub into? So, can a septic system fit on this size lot? I would start contacting septic designers for that. Get on Google some septic designers, talk to them about this property. I don't see any wetlands posing a problem, but when it comes to septic systems, it's how close are your neighbors' wells and septics, if they even have well and septic in the ground. How much space do you have? Without, more than likely, what's nice about the size property is that you don't have to install a well. It sounds like water is available. Therefore, you need less space. There's more space available for septic systems. So obviously the technology is really getting there to install septic on these type of properties, but I'm not the expert on that. I'm not the expert on development in Washington State. I'm the expert on sourcing land deals. So, that's going to have to be part of your due diligence. We're obviously asking our buyers to perform their due diligence and verify all this information and make sure the property is right fit for you, because we sell all of our land as is. We're going to be transparent with you, tell you what we know, share with you about these properties, everything we know. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to make sure it's right fit for your needs and wants as a buyer. So that's really all I have to share. Feel free to go view the property on your own. If you have questions, give me a call. I do have other properties and deals in Washington State. Feel free to sign up for our email list on our website. We do offer a lot of different sales and promos. So again, check out the listings here in Washington. Get with me if you have questions or if you're ready to discuss a purchase. My name is Miles McLaughlin here at Wilco Land, 605-250-1256. Thanks for tuning in.